Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Magic. My name is Chubster. It is episode number 21, and how are you guys doing? First of all, I would like to thank all the viewers for always tuning into my program. That is, if there are any viewers at all. Well, actually, I can see some right now. Let's go to them. Okay, we have, of course, the MADFI president, Mr. Alan Soriano. Good evening, and thank you very much for always supporting LTM or Let's Talk Magic. Okay, it says here, good evening. And of course, I would like to also say good evening to Mr. Robert LaRue, watching all the way from Angeles City in Pampanga. They're actually competing on whoever types the first comment, something like that. Okay, and thank you very much, Miss Kathy. And hey, look, we have the bro. Thank you very much, Jonathan, and nice to see you. And again, this is episode number 21. My name is Chubster. How are you guys doing? Well, as for me, well, I'm doing great. I will be having my second dose of vaccine next Friday. So hopefully after that, well, I'm not ready to go out of the box yet. Of course, I need to be cautious still. As we all know, vaccine is only for protection, not for a complete, how shall I say this? Complete, I'm lost for word, never mind. Anyway, well, the IBM convention has started already. And of course, for those guys, well, too bad I was late when it comes to registering to the IBM convention. But I hope you guys are doing great and you guys are having fun attending the IBM virtual convention. And I hope to see you guys very soon, hopefully, once this pandemic is over. And on a sad note, the better half of the great Thompsoni, Miss Pam Thompson, passed away recently, the other day. So heartfelt condolences to the loved ones of the late Miss Pam Thompson again. And anyway, both of them will be performing magic already up there in heaven. So keep the magic alive, you two. Okay, last Wednesday, the Magicians Foundation Incorporated held the lecture. It's the Master Them online lecture last Wednesday. It was a well-attended lecture. And of course, everyone enjoyed. And we would like to thank all those who attended the Master Them lecture. And Master Them, I'll be seeing you anytime soon. And again, stay safe and God bless you, man. Okay, what else? Let me see. What else did I forget? Okay, wait. Our friends. Okay, wait. Okay, good morning. Okay, good morning, my friend. Good morning, Jonathan Molo. Okay, we have Miss Jen Galisim, the better half, soon to be, of the McBride president. And of course, we have here, watching all the way from UK, we have Darren Lee. Darren, good evening, and thank you very much for always supporting Let's Talk Magic. Okay, before anything else, let me do some pluggings coming from our friends over here. My good friend Wandu, the ventriloquist and magician, will be having an upcoming event. It's a show called The Puppet Stories with Nicolo. This will be broadcast on the new channel on Facebook. It's episode number 59 of season 4. This will be coming Monday. His guest will be Mr. Joseph Then from Singapore. So guys, please support my friend Juanlo Lunaria or Juancho as he presents The Puppet Story with Nicolo. And of course, our good friends from Maggie, the Magicians Foundation Incorporated, will be having this event as well. Okay, I'm having a problem. Broadcast. There's something wrong with my feed. Okay, there you go. Wait. Golden Hair Stage Magic Competition Online Edition. This is MagFi's upcoming event. Now, so far, we have a total of 12 contestants, and there are a few more coming in. So if you want to watch and be part of this exciting event from MagFi, this will be coming July 19th, broadcast via Zoom. You may get in touch with, of course, the following individuals: the MagFi president, Mr. Alan Soriano, and of course, the secretary, RJ Clemente, if you want to witness this one-of-a-kind magic competition by the Foundation Incorporated. That's both gentlemen over here, McBride President Alan Soriano, and of course, and other than the secretary, Mr. RJ Clemente. I was supposed to meet them up this afternoon, but the thing is, I had a virtual event, and too bad I was really very busy this afternoon. Okay. First of all, let me go to my co-presenters over here for making this event possible. Philippine Magic Scene for the latest news and updates on Philippine Magic. Don't forget to follow their Facebook page, Philippine Magic Scene, and like pages as well. Philippine Scene, the latest news updates on Magic. Lasco Home Securities and Automation. We make high-quality automation affordable for every Filipino. Only available at Lazada. Go get Lasco. Okay, hold on. Mamulok Restaurant, serving the cravings of the Filipino, serving the Filipino cravings since 1920. You can visit their store at 408 Quezon Avenue, Quezon City, and they're available via their favorite delivery apps. Mamulok Restaurant. The Prestidigitators, the movers of Philippine Magic. Visit their website at www.theprestidigitators.com and Facebook page The Prestidigitators, the movers of Philippine Magic, One World Alliance, The Prestidigitators. And finally, serving the needs of professional magicians and hobbyists, DV Magic Shop. Visit their store at 463 Unit C, Flores Extension, Sampaloc, Manila, and check out their Lazada and Shopee pages. DV Magic Shop. So once again, thank you very much for always behind my back. So sana man, where? I'm just joking, guys. Okay, so far we have some other viewers watching. Again, for those of you who are viewing or watching this broadcast, please kindly share the stream. I would appreciate it if you're going to go stream, and don't forget to our official Facebook page, Chubster Flores Productions, and all past episodes can be viewed upon our official YouTube channel, Chubster Flores Productions as well. So it's only one thing and one thing only: like the stream, Chubster Flores Productions, and of course, subscribe over here, down here, Chubster Flores Productions, Facebook and YouTube channels. Thank you very much. Okay, guys, I won't keep you waiting. I'm having for the past episodes, I just noticed I'm having problems with my broadcast, not my guest's window, but my own broadcast. Well, I've been sometimes lagging when I was watching the replay. I noticed that there are parts wherein the video is lagging. So that means I'm having problem with the internet, but I don't know why I'm having problem. Anyway, enough with that one. Okay, guys, I know you are very excited for me to present our guest for episode number 21. Okay, he has combined the art of magic and pantomime, which is a bit hard. Plus, he was mentored by none other than the legendary, the one and only Mr. Jeff Mcbride. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Let's Talk Magic, none other than Chris Herren. Let's give Chris Herren a big please. Good evening and welcome to Let's Talk Magic.
Thank you so much, Chubster. It's a pleasure to be here. First off, I want to say hi to the people out there, watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. I see some friends, Jonathan Molo, Kathy Payne, and everyone else that I see on the comments. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. And also to you, Chubster. Thank you for having me here today.
No, thank you for allowing me to guest you on my episode, Let's Talk Magic. And first of all, my first question, because my introduction, I mentioned you have been mentored by the legendary Jeff Mcbride. My first question is, let's go to the hot topic directly. How was it like to be mentored by the legendary one?
Well, it needless to say, every time I talk to Jeff, and I talk to him at least once a month to be mentored. I was mentored by Jeff. I think it's going on 5 years now. When I really started getting serious into magic, I sought him out, and learning from him is truly an experience. He is magical through and through, and his wisdom that he guides you with is just, it's really hard to explain. It's inspirational every time we talk. Sometimes when things get really difficult for me as far as motivation, he'll sit me down and he'll really put me into focus. And I think, the fact that he is a legend in magic, it really affects me as a person and as a performer. And, I've always, and I'm sure many people out there have seen Jeff on TV, and that's where I first saw him with his mask act. And, he truly is the embodiment of what I would say a modern day wizard.
Okay, well, was he a strict mentor? Was he, strict as go direct to the point, something like that?
Well, I think for Jeff, he'll always play to your skill level and to your interest level, and as well as your motivation. But I think when I approached him to learn magic, I told him that I wanted to approach magic, more than a hobby. I've done
Mhm.
it all my life as a hobby, and I think from then on he knew that he had to push me as far as my magic. And he put me on a very strict regimen. And just to give you an idea, I was at that point where I had a lot of hobbies, to include pantomime. And he sat me down, Chubster, and he said, he goes, well, my question to him was, is how do I take my magic to the
The
next
next
level?
level.
You
Okay.
know what I mean? And people out there understand that saying is, how do you take it to the next level? And he told me, he goes, Chris, you have to give up everything, meaning
Wow.
the the uh, the 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 extracurricular activities, the distractions. And he says you need to give magic everything that you have, and if you do that, then it will give back to you 100-fold. And then I said, and then we really got technical, and I said, well, how much practice should I put in every day? And he checks up on me, and he knows when I don't practice. He says 1 hour a
Wow.
day. He says 1 hour a day is better than 12 hours on a weekend. And I understood that, because sometimes we like to cram in our practice. And
Mhm.
so every day is what it takes. Is at least that's what he told me. And he said it's the 10,000 hour rule. Put in 10,000 hours of practice and also performance, and you will see one day that your magic will be taken to that next level. And hopefully, I achieve that one day.
But you know what? You are very, very lucky to be mentored by the legendary Jeff Mcbride. So that's really something else. Uh, I know that lots of guys envy you right now.
Oh, oh, Jeff is his school is open to the public, to anyone who wants to learn. But I think I was fortunate because he does take a limited number of students
Students.
for
Oh.
mentorship. You know, and so I was one of the lucky ones. I don't know why he chose me, but perhaps I did approach him and said I wanted to learn mask and
Mm.
pantomime, and that is his truly a
Specialty
specialty of
something.
his. Right. And it was just something that he hardly ever teaches, is the Basque. And I have been fortunate enough to learn that particular art form and blend it with magic, and make it my own, and not what Jeff does. But it is something that I hold near and dear to my heart, and
Mhm.
it's pantomime. you know
I see. By the way, to all our viewers, if you don't know this guy over here, based on the facial features, yes, he is Filipino by heart and Filipino by. I mean, were you born and raised in the Philippines, man?
Yes, I'm Filipino, so kumusta to everyone out there. You know what, Chubster, just to be clear, people don't know that I'm Filipino,
Oh, sorry about
and
that.
yeah, no, I mean, sometimes they mistaken me for another nationality, but the truth is I am Filipino. My parents my mom was from Talisay, Batangas, and
Oh.
and yeah, and my dad is from Ilocos, and I actually travel there, quite often, before pre-pandemic, and I visit my family out there in Talisay, and needless to say, hopefully I can travel out there once again after all this pandemic,
Well, that is from north to south, from Ilocos to Batangas. That's from north to south. Wow.
Yes,
And
yeah.
by the way, how are they doing right now in Talisay? Because as you may all know, Tal is acting up. How are they doing? Okay so far?
I my mom primarily keeps in touch now, and
Oh,
I
good.
would say that they're okay out there. I mean, as far as what I've heard, I haven't heard anything, too bad out there. But yeah, they should be okay.
Okay, I have a question here coming from Kathy. Let me just post it over here. When did Chris first begin working with Jeff Mcbride? Thank you very much for the question, Kathy. Go ahead.
Oh, good question, Kathy. You know, so if I may, Chubster, I have a history with Jeff that,
Okay.
indirectly that, I'd love to tell, because it kind of, represents my magic journey. So I seen him on TV like in the 90s, and I was just, like everyone else, just amazed. So in my 20s, I sought him out in Las Vegas at Caesar's Palace. And it just so happened he was performing at the Magical Empire, and he had his own show. And he did this amazing, amazing performance. And, in the middle of his act, he started going into the audience, and I knew he was going to choose someone. And out of all the kids and out of all the adults, he chose me. And I was just like fanboying right there. I was just
Lucky
amazed.
you.
I was lucky. I knew I was lucky, and he brought me up to do his signature performance called the Sorcerer's Apprentice. And for magicians out there, that's the miser's dream, where he pulls coins out of your ears and stuff like that. Well, anyways, after all that, he really empowered me throughout that performance. And after that, at the very end of that performance, he gives me a wand. And
Okay.
he says, Chubster, that, magicians from past generations have handed down the wand to apprentices to carry on the wisdom of magic into the future. And now I am handing down this wand to you. That's what he told me. And I was just like, I was about to cry. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was just that happy.
I said,
But
whoa,
needless,
wait a minute. Did just that happen, what?
right? But I wasn't even performing magic at the time. Not like professionally.
Mm-hmm.
But he gives me this wand, and then he says, Chris, the magic is you. And he says, take the stage. And he made the music go up, and I just did some dance, and he was laughing. But I have that wand. Would you like to see the wand that he gave me?
Until now? Up to now?
Until now.
Wait, is it encased in a glass box or what?
Well, I took it out just for this show, so I'm going to show you. This is the very
Oh,
wand that he gave me. And, I kept this. I didn't, I took pictures with him back in the day, but I didn't keep those for whatever reason. But if you can look on there, it's inscribed. It's inscribed, presented personally.
personally, Jeff Mcbride.
Yes,
Confirms what you believe is real is real. Am I correct? What you believe is real is real.
right. So this is the one that I received in my 20s, and it says specifically, what you believe is real is real. And I didn't know what that meant at the time, Chubster. But, as I started performing, I began to understand what he meant, because through our sessions,
Mm-hmm.
studying under, he had said, Chris, the only way magic is going to be real to anyone else is if you believe it's real. And
Uh-huh.
so once I started believing when I'm on stage and I'm performing that everything I was doing was magical, that's when I truly found the connection between me and the audience. And it's that
Mm.
sort of relationship that needs to be real in order for them to experience real magic. But to answer Kathy's question, fast forward 20 years later from receiving that wand, I went through a lot of life changes, such as cancer. 10 years
Oh,
ago, so I was diagnosed with cancer 10 years ago. I'm under remission now and, doing well. But my wife
praise
had,
God. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. My wife had encouraged me to just take a class because I was rehabilitating, I was getting healthier, and I was unsure. And that was 5 years ago. And I met Jeff at his home in a class that, was very basic. I took that class and he really, it wasn't just like a classroom class.
Mm-hmm.
To describe it, when I entered into the room, Jeff made everything become like this ritual and welcoming of a student into the world of magic. And everyone there was dressed up in, very magical attire. And, Jeff specifically, made us feel like we were being inducted into this world of magic. It was a journey that we were about to begin. And so that was my first experience with Jeff. And I've since then taken that journey with him. And that was about 5 years ago.
Yeah, that is a very wonderful, inspiring story. But have you showed the wand to Jeff, the one that he gave it to you?
Oh yes, he was very surprised, that I had it, and he would often reference, his shows in the past, and he says, well, he'll ask if I'm in the Zoom room, because sometimes we're doing virtual, he's doing virtual lectures and I'm in the audience, and he'll say, Chris was there. Chris was there in the 90s when I was at the Magical Empire, because I gave him that wand. And, people would ask, to see the wand. And, it's a very simple wand. But like anything else, it's the memory that was implemented into that experience. And I've showed it to him. Now, I know one of your questions, Chubster, was, what kind of teacher he was.
Yes.
And like I said, at least for me, he's very strict because he knows that that's what I'm there for. But to show that, he's a very, very good teacher, to inspire me even further, he's given me a mask of his own. So,
wow.
I'm sure not too many people have seen this. And he's signed it, to my, from your teacher and mentor. But he had specifically told me, he goes, I'm giving you this mask, and I didn't ask for it, mind you. It just showed up in the mail. That's how he is. And he says, I'm sending this to you for your inspiration. And when I seen this mask, I said, this guy truly is at least caring about my journey in magic and is ensuring that I am continually inspired to learn. And that's what a mentor does. And that's what I'm thankful for Jeff. And, I appreciate him as a teacher, of the wisdom and just knowledge that he's passed down to me.
And I was supposed to ask you a question. Now, back then, when he handed you that magic wand, you were really the chosen one for me. I mean, you were really the chosen one. So the connection began during that time when we handed you the magic wand.
I know. Robert LaRue there wanted to see the mask up close.
Yeah,
so
I'm gonna go. I'll just do this. Yeah, there you go.
That's for you, Robert. So this is just a little history behind this. This is an Italian mask. It's folkloric in its nature, and it's made out of leather, and it's molded. I hand molded to give these expressions. So there it is, and this is how it would look on me.
Complete with the eye expression, with the eye.
I love masks, Chubster. So that's certainly one of my, my favorite things outside of magic is the mask, and I think I don't know what it was about the mask, but I know it had a lot to do with Jeff doing his signature mask performance that really propelled me like mask. But I mean, as far as pantomime, I'm also a big fan of Marcel Marceau and Charlie Chaplin,
Oh,
and people like that. So those are my heroes outside of magic.
we will go to the topic of pantomime and magic in a short while. Now, before I go to the next question posted by Kathy, you mentioned that while it's not yet pandemic, you often visit the Philippines. Now, what do you miss most about the Philippines now? You miss the food,
Oh,
or the places, something like that?
of course, the food. Of course, the food.
What's your
I
favorite? Don't tell me adobo. Everyone's
my
favorite food, right?
my
What's your favorite adobo?
I think Jonathan Molo probably has the same favorite food because we've eaten Filipino food here. I love dinuguan. So
Yeah, I
that's
remember that.
right. So dinuguan is like for everyone out there who doesn't know what that is, they call it chocolate meat, but
Chocolate?
it's yeah, but it's pig's blood, right? But I kind of think of myself as a vampire because I sleep late at night, just like you, Chubster.
Not late
But
at night, early in the morning.
so I don't sleep at all. but
And
but I do miss the Philippines because number one, I before magic, I always traveled there to just remain in touch with my family and my roots. And I was born here in the U.S. and
okay.
and 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 my mom is my only connection to the Philippines because she talks to me in Tagalog.
Oh,
And although I can't really talk in conversation, I can understand it. But I just miss the culture, the people, and just being able to know that this is where I came from, you know. And now that I have friends in magic, all the more better.
mhm.
So yes, that's what I
So
miss.
you know what? Like what I mentioned to Molo, once this pandemic is over and you decided to visit the Philippines, I'll let you taste the what do you call this one? The crispy dinuguan. I don't know if you have tasted it
Oh,
before. And there's, are you a fan of sinigang? I mean, are you a
yes,
sinigang lover? Okay,
absolutely.
I'm gonna go take you to a place where they serve sinangag na sinigang.
Oh, okay. So now you're tempting me. And
Okay. It's a rice. It's a rice cooked
yeah,
in sinigang broth.
okay.
Then take it out, put it on the dish without the soup. Then all the vegetables are cooked like tempura style. They put it on top. The pork are cut like as thin as bacon slices.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
there is red, I mean, I know, you sili, you know what sili is, right? I don't know, I'm not
Yes.
a lot. Sili and lots of vegetables still. And when you taste it, it's like with soup already, but it's only rice together with the toppings.
All
So
right.
don't
Me and
worry, I'll, oh,
me
by
and
the way,
Jonathan are gonna hold you to that because
yes. And by
I'm
the
all,
way, don't miss this one. He needs Mamulok Shopo and Mami. Of course,
oh,
I'll
Robert.
treat you to
Okay.
Mamulok Siopaw and Mami. The best Mami and Siopaw in town, and I guarantee you, I promise you, no other
I'm
Siopaw.
and Chris says it's hot, so
Anghang, yeah.
I'm all about that. I'm all about spicy. So let's do it, man.
Okay.
All
I'm gonna
right.
go to my next question again, Kathy. Thank you very much for being for engaging us in the conversation. So next question of Kathy is: where did you draw inspiration from for the elements of your own mask? So you made your own. You have your own mask, right? As
Yes,
Faust, that's your creation, right?
yes, it's my original creation, and I think again I mentioned that I had when I had been diagnosed with cancer, that was the somewhat turning point for me. Where my magic kind of changed, or at least my whole motivation to do magic. So at first I wanted to write Chubster. I wanted to write a story because at first I didn't know whether I was gonna make it through, my experience through the sickness. So
Mhm.
I wanted to write a story about a guy who was going through a similar experience to me. And I think it was just something cathartic that I was, looking to do, something therapeutic for me. But I realized that, I wasn't that good at, writing a storyline and writing out a novel or something like that. And then that's when I started, um, kind of digging back into my magic, my interest in magic. So I knew that if I was going to do magic ever again, I didn't want to do it as me. I
Okay.
thought that I wanted to be able to express all, I love theater, so I wanted to implement some theater into magic. And so I thought, well, I love pantomime, I love mass, and let me just try it.
And
So
combine both.
yes, and so I read the book Faust #1, and it's an old 18th century book about a guy who sold his soul to the devil.
Mm.
But my character's not based on that premise. What
Okay.
I asked myself is why would anyone sell their soul to the devil?
Yep.
And I mean, and then I came up with an answer, at least for myself, and I said, well, perhaps that individual or Faust was desperate. He wanted to change, and he was willing to do anything to change his circumstance. And I think from there, Chubster, I had understood that. I understood the emotional drive behind his choice. And then I said, you know what? I think I want to express that emotion of desperation through a character. And so I made my mask of Faust. But
Okay.
Faust, I also, I looked at the expression of Edward Scissorhands. Do you know who that
Mm.
is?
Yes.
Yes. So Edward Scissorhands has a sort of neutral expression, an innocent expression. And so I kind of was inspired to create that expression with Faust. And, that's how I was inspired. And then I just started fooling around with making videos. And then when I really got into the mask, I approached Jeff and I said, this is what I have, and that's where it took off, you know, and
Well, I
that's
mean,
really
Jeff
how.
is really a good teacher to share you some of his takes on the mask. So in Tagalog, he's not madamot. Am I correct?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, and for people out there who don't understand Tagalog, it's not he's not like stingy with the magic, or
Mm.
he's
Thank you
he's
very much. Thank you.
very yes. I'm hoping I translate it well, so but that's how I perceive the word. No, he's not stingy, or he doesn't covet his magic. He's always giving
And
his
sharing.
and you know what? If I may, Chubster, I'd love to show a little of this. Was actually the first routine he had given me, and
Oh,
it's
wow.
changed. Yeah, it's changed throughout the years that I've known him to accommodate different situations. But in essence, this was the very first routine that he had shown me, and he said, I no longer do it, but I would like to give it to you, and I'd like to show everyone out there what that routine is, if that's okay.
Sure, go ahead. Let me put you on the main screen now.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna step off screen for just a second, and then and I'll come back, and then I'll show you guys the very first routine Jeff gave me.
Okay. Once again, you're watching Let's Magic. This is episode number 21. We are featuring Chris Herren as Faust. Guys, if you notice when you're watching the stream, my video is lagging. Well, that's the problem that I'm encountering with StreamYard right now. I already called my internet provider, and I think it's not on my end. And as you can see, my guest's feed is okay, but my window is not. But anyway, Guys, once again, please welcome Chris Herren as Faust. Here we go.
Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoy this routine that Jeff Mcbride had given me. Enjoy, everyone. Thank you so much, ladies and
Let's give
gentlemen.
virtual. Sorry about that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Faust.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, Faust. Okay, let's give Chris Harris Faust a big virtual round of applause, guys. Come on.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay, again, guys, you're watching Let's Talk Magic. We are at episode number 21. Please don't forget to visit Chris Herren's website and, of course, Facebook and Instagram. You can visit his website at www.chrisherrenmagic.com. You can also visit his Facebook page, Chris Herren as Faust, and, of course, Instagram, Chris Herren as Faust. And by the way, later on, we're going to go talk about his streaming online streaming show on Facebook. You can also check that one out. It's called Facebook page Faust and Company. We'll talk more about that one in a short while. So, guys, Chris, thank you very much for the very lovely 4 months. As a pantomime, you always be moving. Your movement should always be graceful, right? And like you mentioned, you're a huge fan of Marceau and Charlie Chaplin. But there's a difference between those two, right? Is there any difference between the way they perform, right?
That's a very good question, Chubster. I mean, yes, it is a huge difference. Marceau is predominantly a mime. So that art form is completely different because it utilizes gestures and movements to tell a story. And really, mime is done without any music or anything. So, you know, and he uses no props at all, and everything from a butterfly to a box to something he's leaning on, he creates through his own movement and gesture. And that's what mime is. You know, and it's very much, you know, this silent art, but very graceful. Charlie Chaplin, on the other hand, does something that I kind of do more of. It's pantomime, and you know, pantomime really is like acting without words, but you're really physically expressing emotion and feeling. And at least that's my translation of the two, but they are very different. Now, can you mix the two together? Absolutely. And you see that with Jeff. If you ever seen him do his routine with the mask, it's like where he takes off his mask and he has no face, and he's stuck in this wall where he can't get out of it. He does mime and pantomime all in one routine, and I think it's just something that goes hand in hand. But the art of pantomime dates back all the way to the Roman Empire in ancient Greece. And the original, I think, mimes and pantomime actually used masks. And that's why I use this Faust mask. And if you can see it there, that's how my mask looks. And I drew it myself. Yes, no problem. I think your sound is off, but I'll keep
which brings me to the next question first. So,
Yes.
what's the history behind the Faust character? Sorry to cut you, man.
Oh, no worries, man. I tend to talk too much anyways, Chubster, so I apologize.
No, it's okay. My bad.
So the history of him, the history with Faust himself as the character, is that Faust was this sort of mime back in the 18th century. At least that's what I had written.
Mhm.
And he had been this very rising, mime in Paris, and some tragic event happened in his life, and it made him recluse back into his own room and apartment where he no longer performed because he was just traumatized. So he became very, very reclusive from the world. And then where we pick up at least where I pick up Faust, is that he's now ready to kind of get in touch with the audience now. So everything that he's doing on stage is his attempt to connect with people and to get retouched with the world. And so that's really his story, is that he was someone who had gone on a path but came off of it and is now back onto it. And that's where we meet Faust, is on the stage, and it's like meeting another person for the first time.
So you personally painted the mask itself, or you designed it, or you have someone made it for you?
No, I did everything myself. So
Oh,
I
nice.
used the black pen. So if you can see it's not just drawn in, but it's like every little dot on here was something that I used, and I found that it works well, as far as lighting is concerned, and getting the right expression for me. And I did it in a way because I studied like kabuki theater and Japanese know that art form. And I know that their mask will change expression as you tilt it and, turn it. And that is something that, I had to learn, was to find an expression that will change through, its movement. And I thought that, was something that really was necessary if you're going to do mass and understand the art of mass, because it truly is a difficult thing to do. If you put on a mask, sometimes you just look like a guy in a mask, and that was something I didn't want to do. I wanted to embody the character, and hopefully I
A
do
new
that.
persona. Okay, this may be, I don't know if you consider this as a silly question, or sorry for the term, stupid question. The thing is,
No,
how many masks like that do you have? I mean, what if you misplace it? Do you have a backup mask? Sorry for the stupid question.
no, it's a great question. I was actually thinking about it myself, because these masks don't last long because they're just a regular white plastic mask. but I had made one, and you know, I originally had one mask, and it was quite simply, it looked completely different than what I had now, and it didn't have the expression. Just looked like a mime, a mime mask. I keep that one. In fact, if you can see up here, you
Yeah.
can't see, it's out of view, but that's my original mask that I actually
Oh.
competed with. I came in second place, so I said, well, maybe this mask wasn't working, so I retired it, and then I created the original Faust, and I keep that one always, and I use that one for years.
Mm-hmm.
I actually gifted another mask to Kat Gomez, who is a dear friend of mine, and her son, who is an autistic artist. He's a young boy who really loved my character Faust. So, we had this connection all the way to when I first started creating Faust. And as a gift to them, I gave, her son a Faust mask. And also I gave Jeff a mask. So in total, there are, I think, one, two, three, four masks to include this one right here. So
Oh, wow.
yeah.
The thing is, the reason why I asked that question is, if you just out of the blue you put it on a chair and someone sat on it accidentally.
Yeah.
So that-
Oh yeah. It's trouble. I could. It would take about an hour for me to draw. Um,
okay.
but nonetheless, I do have backups, and obviously, if I wore a white mask, I can perform it, and I can also perform without the
Without.
mask as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you mentioned a while back you're a very huge fan of Charlie Chaplin and of course Marcel Marceau. So that's why when I'm looking at your outfit right now, the hat and the outfit is of course Charlie Chaplin and the mask is Marcel. Am I correct?
Right, Bip. Yeah, his character was called Bip, and then Charlie's is the tramp. But yes, the influence is truly there, and my character is somewhat based in a certain time period, and that's what I love is the old Victorian, early 1900s era, that style, and my full show that I'm currently making now is based on that sort of style, the parlor magic,
Mhm.
and it touches on storytelling and different sort of representations of that era, because that's where I think Faust, the character, is best expressed, or that's where he is you know um living. At least that's where he lives and breathes as a character.
Thank you very much. By the way, shout out for my friend watching from Saudi Arabia, Armin. Good evening, and thank you very much for always tuning in. Again,
Yeah.
this is Let's Talk Magic, episode number 21, featuring Mr. Chris Herren as Faust. Now, let's go to the combining magic and, of course, pantomime. You mentioned a few bits a while back. Now, uh, is it was it embraced by the public? I mean, when you presented your act, was it? I mean, of course, magic. When you perform magic, obviously, crowd will go to you. Sorry, I'm at a loss for words. But
Yes.
how did the public accept your character as a pantomime and as a magician? Was it hard?
Yes, it's very hard. I think I'm up against a couple factors that I didn't realize I was up against. One, there was really only one person using mask in the magic world, and it was Jeff. And the one thing that I didn't want to do was people to say, "Oh, he looks like Jeff," or "He's doing what Jeff does."
Mhm.
That was a factor, and that That was something always in the back of my mind. In fact, those were conversations I've had with Jeff Mcbride. And, and I told him, I said, I really need and want to find an authentic character that is really me and can be distinguished from you. And so he's helped me with that. But yes, you're right. When I first started Faust, it wasn't really accepted. It was somewhat strange to people. It's an old art form, and it's something that people weren't used to seeing. But I think through the years, people have began, with as I got better in my technique in terms of pantomime and my expression for Faust, people began to understand that Faust had a story, and they no longer looked at it as this sort of bizarre thing. Although that was my intention initially, Chubster, was to create a character that was somewhat strange, and but my goal in creating this character was to give you that feeling of, oh, this is a little bit weird, but I wanted to win you over. I wanted you to really not judge the character by its, physical appearance. And so that's what Faust was, at least from a performance aspect, was I didn't want you to see me as a person in a mask. I wanted you to see this character as being alive, a tragic character. And hopefully through that, perhaps you might be able to connect with it in some way. And fortunately, I've been able to find a way to do that with people. And that's what I think makes Faust successful. And yes, many times people have told me, I don't think it's going to work. I think you should go this direction. Why don't you perform without the mask? Good points, very good points. But I think, in my heart, I wanted to express this character. Whether it was going to work or not, Chubster, didn't matter to me. It was something that truly came from my heart, and I'm fortunate that I was able to find this Faust and present it in this way as well.
And of course, nobody can take that away from you. I mean, it's your, how should I say this? It's your own identity as Faust, and it's me. So if I have a problem, it's on my.
Yes.
Hi. Sorry.
It's on you. And I think, and that it goes with the very philosophical question, why do we do magic? And that's something I had to ask myself. Am I doing magic to satisfy, the client? Of course. Or the audience? Yes, of course. But also I wanted to do magic for me to somewhat express what was being hidden in my heart. For years, no one knew that I did pantomime. For years, no one knew I liked Marcel Marceau or Chaplin. But I felt it was time that, I put away my ego and really make myself vulnerable. And I think that's the key, Chubster, is if truly finding your voice requires you to be vulnerable and to be honest with your audience. And I think that's why Faust works. It's not the mask. I figured that out. It's never the mask, and you're right. Kathy says it's unique and moving. And me and Jonathan Molo have had this conversation so much, and we always talk. Why is it that we do magic to begin with? And Jonathan Molo is my hero in magic, because and a side note with that, Chubster, is that Jonathan Molo. I love that guy, number one, because when the pandemic happened, we were already connected through the Magic Castle in Hollywood. And we're both members. But Jonathan Molo, when the pandemic happened, we were all in a scramble. All my live shows were canceled. And then he approached me and he said, hey, would you like to do a virtual show with me? I'm doing this thing, as a sort of way to give back to, people out there in magic during this time of the pandemic. And I was like, what's a virtual show? I don't know what that is. Right? Let alone, and he goes, you get on a webcam, and I said, I don't even have a computer. so I borrowed my son's computer, and I used the webcam on the computer, and you could see the very first show that I did virtually, and it was just this frame. I love you too, brother. But it was this frame where it was just from the chest up, and I was performing Faust on a computer webcam. But
like this little screen.
Yes, I was like this, and it was blurry. But I owe my virtual journey because of Jonathan. He motivated me, and he put me on this path of being able to reach out to people through this medium. And that's what I'm thankful for.
Well, speaking of the guy, take a look at this one.
What's up, it's Jonathan here, and want to send a special shout out to my boy, Chris Herren as Faust, representing Yes.
Wait. Sorry. And it's not supposed to go that way. It's a bit, again, lagging. Now let me just do it like this. Sorry.
No worries.
On our screen. Boom.
What's up, it's Jonathan here, and want to send a special shout out to my boy, Chris Herren as Faust, representing Yes. Chris, I love you, brother, like a brother, and you inspire me, and I love you very much. Also, I like you too, Chubster. Totally joking. Love you both, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Sorry. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you, Jonathan. That guy really touches my heart, man. I mean, there is no other guy that I know is just so giving to people out there and just the magic community in general. I mean, it just speaks so many words, man. My love to that guy. Jonathan, love you, brother.
I love you too, brother. You know what? I'm really thankful for both of you guys because, you really don't know me. I mean, as you really don't know me, but yet you both agreed to do the interview. And I mean, you're not stingy.
Chubster, I think, it's just, you just know when you connect with people. I think, I trusted that sort of emotion. And for people out there who don't know, we met through like a random meeting. I think it was a club meeting. And I immediately knew that the group that we were with was, genuinely nice and all about magic. And I met Chubster through that. And since then, we've managed to remain in touch. And he's in the Philippines and I'm here in the US. I mean, without this medium of virtual, it would be nearly impossible to do that. And I'm grateful for that. So thank you, Chubster, for having me. Thank you so
very much. I mean, I should be thanking both of you. Now, the thing is, I can't remember how I got in touch with Jonathan. I don't know. I saw him somewhere and I found out he was Filipino. And I just sent him a message and, hey, yes, bro, I'll do that. I was surprised. Then he actually mentions your name. You should be doing, Chris Herren as well. But the thing is, at first I was hesitant. I thought you were, how should I say this? Sorry, but you're masungit.
I don't know why people say that about me.
So but it's not only me. It's not only me. Huh?
I've heard that many times. But now that you know me, Chubster, and for people out there who don't know what that means, it's kind of like a snob, right? Arrogant.
Thank you.
That's what people sort of see me as being arrogant. But and I'm like, what is it? Is it my eyeliner, or is it the way I look? I don't know what it is. But now that you know me, you know I'm not that way.
Yeah, I'm really, really happy that I'm connected with both of you. And yeah, I really feel, personally, I really feel that you are my true friends already, even though we're apart and even though we have known each other for a short span of time during the. If this pandemic didn't happen, I don't know if I'll be connected with both of you.
Well, I think so. I think that much is true, and but as I always believe, you're always put on a path, and this was done for a reason. I do believe that, and I'm grateful that I've managed to meet you, Chubster, and you know what? I'm gonna hold you to it. Me and Jonathan have already been planning to go to the Philippines, and now that you mentioned all these foods, we're foodies,
Yes.
so
Mm-hmm.
we're going to eat all the food that you've mentioned. And I, everyone that I've met online, I am making it a point to connect. And you're one of them, Chubster, and I'm just
Thank
grateful
you
that
very much. Thank you very much.
you know,
I'm
yeah.
so happy.
Thank you.
By the way, I was supposed to go to the merchandise thing, but again, Kathy, thank you very much for engaging us. After seeing Jonathan's Faust T-shirt, I'm going to Chris's website to order one. I wasn't able to get that website. I mean, that's Chris
So
Herren, right? It's your website, right?
yes,
Or
if
it's a
you,
different
Kathy,
website.
yeah, anyone can go. And Kathy, you could go to my website, chrisherrenmagic.com. I have a link there of merchandise, and if you wanted to get a shirt, please, you can get it there. And I do have a promo code for it. So, Chubster, if you don't
Oh,
mind, let me
yes,
get the
please.
promo code. That way, no one's going on there buying it full price, because I did. Let's see here. Let me see if I could find it first off. Just a second, guys.
No, no worries, no worries.
Yeah.
An
Uh,
exclusive on Let's Talk Magic. By the way,
well, right.
Jonathan, it's your fault. Jonathan Molo, you're the one who modeled the shirt, so that's
Yeah.
why.
He's wearing the shirt, and just a little bit of background with that shirt. My friend made that logo, and
Oh,
it there are, if you look at it very closely, there are different symbols on there that represent my expression with magic. Obviously, the mouth, the mask,
mm-hmm.
and the moon, and I think there are some stars on there. Those are things that I really like, and think that are very lucky, because I'm quite the superstitious person. But anyways, I think the promo code that you can use is hot summer.
Okay,
Hot summer.
hold on.
Yes. I want to make sure. And if that doesn't work, reach out to me on Facebook on message, and then I'll create one. But I think yes. And it's one word, but hot summer. Use
Okay, one word.
Yeah, and I think you'll get at least $6 or $7 off on the shirt, because they ship directly from the distributor. I don't.
Mm.
Yes, I don't manage it. So
Oh.
if you're interested in supporting, there's a lot of merchandise on there with my logo on it, and I would truly appreciate that. Thank you so much.
So once again, guys, the promo code is Hot Summer. Please visit the website, chrisherren.com, wherein you will find the link to the Chris Herren Magic merchandise. So again, he's offering us a $7 discount, which means the shirt is only now $1. I'm just joking. Trying to be funny, I'm bad, okay?
Thank you, Chubster.
Okay, now let me go to my next topic. This was already discussed. What are the challenges you've been
Yeah.
encountering when combining magic and pantomime? Now, how do you create new routines? I mean, of course,
Oh,
the thing is, it's not hard when you're presenting magic as a magician, but when you're doing it as in a pantomime setting, and of course, you're not speaking. How hard is it? I mean, like what you did, knots of silks. I mean, it's okay. It
Yeah.
works good on you, including when you put the on your lips the ring. It was really nice.
Yeah, it's great. My only problem is I'm slower than most people in terms of creativity.
Mm.
So a lot of what I do is I've been working on, I would have said that the Faust routine with the mask, I've only had like 15 minutes of an act. Because I primarily do parlor and I do variety shows, so I'm only asked to do a couple minutes. But in terms of your question, I've been working on those for the past 3 to 5 years, just changing and refining and changing and refining. And I think that's what makes it, that's how long it took me to get to those little nuances of expression and utilizing the knots as, my lips and
Lips,
stuff
yep.
like that. But a good question that you brought up is that, how do I come up with new things for Faust? And one of the newest things that I've been trying to do is I've been trying to talk, and
Mm.
that was difficult for me because I think the person without the mask is Faust, I think, in a way, because I
Okay.
still don't play it. And I think my idea was, yes, I'm creating more routines with the mask, but I also wanted to create a character who actually talked. And the question there is how do I present a character who actually talks, who is predominantly wears a mask.
Mm.
And what I did is I talked to Jeff about it, and we came up with a character that was mainly a storyteller, and who was different than Faust. Obviously, he was clearly different with Faust. So that was something that I've been testing out to show of a contrast, and it allows me to express my voice. And so those were some of the things. In fact, Chubster, if we have time, I'd love to show another magical piece of
Sure.
storytelling. That's
Go
okay.
ahead. Go ahead. Yes. Thank you very much.
So, yes. So Chubster, this, and just a little bit of background with this routine. It's near and dear to my heart because it was written by Eugene Berger,
The late
originally
Eugene
written.
Burger, yep.
Yes, the late Eugene Berger, who it was one of the great philosophers of magic. And before he passed away, he had handed down this story to Jeff Mcbride. And Jeff Mcbride later on handed it down to me. And, he did so in a way to remind me that, my journey in magic was about having a sort of a magic lineage. And he
Mm.
says, I pass this down to you, and I want you to pass it down to everyone else. But I like this story, Chubster, because it's not just a bizarre story, but it is a story with a message, and I will certainly tell you what that message is, because I just love this story. So it goes something like this.
Once again,
Highlight.
first Herren.
Thank you, Chubster. Highlights in the history of the world, told with a pack of playing cards. Chapter 18, the Inquisition, always a popular favorite. The 8 of spades shall represent an exceedingly efficient device of medieval torture. The Jack of Hearts, a confused member of the community falsely accused of the heresy of witchcraft. And I shall play Torquemada, and you all shall play Torquemada's assistants, a very important role indeed. But first, the device is prepared behind the victim's back, thereby causing witless anxiety. Our inquisition begins. Do you confess to the heresy of witchcraft? No. No. Perhaps this will loosen your tongue. Actually, the victim's tongue is removed so that the angry screams do not detract from the merriment of the moment. You would think that the victim is inserted into the device. Oh no. The device is inserted into the victim and rubbed up against his very spine. On a good day, you could get them to turn inside out. But on a very good day, you could get them to turn outside in. Inside out. And outside in. You could get them so bewildered, so confused, that they were facing one way and the other at the same time. A snap of the spine, and this is my favorite part. You could almost hear their bones breaking. Oh, look, our victim is beside himself. But look, one half is facing in, the other half is facing out, and they will only match if you turn the head 180 degrees, and they match perfectly. And that is how they search for the truth in the Middle Ages. A story told by Eugene Berger. Thank you so much. You know, Chubster, I had always wondered why Eugene would write. Thank you so much. I had always wondered why Eugene would write such a macabre tale like that. And then it struck me, you know, perhaps Eugene wanted to remind us that magic can teach us a great lesson in our past mistakes, more so like the Inquisition, which was a mistake. But I think he wanted to remind us that magic can teach us never to make those same mistakes again. So to Eugene Berger, may he continue to inspire us from beyond. And that is the message behind that very strange tale. And I love telling that. And those are the types of pieces that I'm working on now.
So that's why when you mentioned you love theater as well, so that's why you can memorize all those stuffs. In my case, it's hard for me to memorize.
Yeah, you know, I love that piece because it was written by Eugene. And, you know, some stories, I know people have asked me, why don't, you come up with your own story? I do. And I think that there are some stories that are just so written so good that they need to be retold. They need to be retold in their most original form. And that is one that I truly believe that needs to be passed down, at least in the magic community. So, and obviously it's something that was handed down to me. That's why I tell it. But thank you so much for allowing me to show that one.
It's an honor that you, how to say it? It's my great honor. Well, but you know that, you know the reply. Sorry, okay. You mentioned it was Jonathan who introduced you to the virtual show world, right? But
Yes.
Right now, look at both of you guys. You are very, very busy with your virtual shows. Yesterday, you had a virtual show. So,
Yes.
again, it's pandemic. So right now, you're doing good when it comes to virtual shows. Now, speaking of virtual shows, let's go to your show, Faust and Company. So can you tell us more about that one, and when do you broadcast in the time, something like that?
Yes, I used to do it every week. So obviously virtual shows have been quite busy. And so I mainly try to do it twice a month now. And if they go to Faust and Company, what I try to do is very similar to what you do. Is I try to get to know magicians and their whole philosophy behind why they perform. And my goal was not to just interview magicians that were known or famous. I wanted to interview the lesser knowns as well, people who've never heard of a certain magician, and magicians that I like, and the way they perform. So that's my whole goal with magic, is to introduce people to different forms of magic. And hopefully I've been able to do that with Faust and Company. And I am constantly learning. I love learning from people, so that's another benefit that I try to bring with with Faust and Company, which is my live stream that I hold. So if you're out there, please tune in, and also if you're a magician out there and you want to present, Chubster, I'm gonna have you on there, and
Thank you.
I just, yes, I'd be honored, because I think what you're doing in the magic community is
Anytime, bro.
exactly
Anytime, even though it's early in the morning, no problem.
right now. I'll get you to wake up early in the morning.
I will sleep for you. I will let your episode.
Yeah, I love what you're doing, Chubster. You are unselfishly giving back to the magic community. It helps performers like myself and Jonathan to kind of tell our story. Otherwise people wouldn't know, and I appreciate that so much. And thank you.
And this, I mean, like in your case, this all started during the pandemic. Let's say I'm not doing anything. So I just played. Actually, I'm playing with two ideas. Okay, let's talk magic or for magicians. Then I have a next show. It was supposed to be called Late Night Show with Chubster Flores, which is a
Yes.
talk show pattern to the Jimmy Fallon thing. So
Yes.
on that show, I won't be interviewing any magicians. Mostly lay people, maybe something business or something like that.
Yeah.
A teacher has been happening during the pandemic, but still I'm concentrating more on this one. And
Yes.
I also thank all the past guests that I had, because out of the blues, I just, oh wait, I'll try to see if I can get in touch with this guy. I'm always ready to take no for an answer. So that's why I will not feel bad. So every time I'm gonna go write someone, I'm gonna message someone, I'm always ready to take no as an answer. So good thing, most of them agreed. So my only problem is like Vegas. My only problem is the time.
Right, right. But the thing is, what I found is that I think people just love, they genuinely love just sharing magic. And for me, I don't know about you, Chubser, but I'm constantly thinking about magic, and how I can better it and share it. And so getting up early is no big deal, because I would have been up early anyways, thinking about magic or practicing magic. So it's just a treat to be out there, and I'm sure many people out there feel the same. So
Magic
magic
is
has
life.
no time.
Magic is life. And I mean, like you, I always think of magic. I mean, ever
Yeah.
since I was a kid, I am into magic already. I mean, during elementary days, if there's a school presentation, some guys are singing, some guys are doing the poem. In my case, I perform magic. But you know
Yeah.
what? You mentioned you were lucky enough to be one of the volunteers of Jeff Mcbride during one of his shows.
Yes.
Uh, I'm just want to share this because I'm really happy because it happened. This during the Deep Copperfield show in Manila. So I was lucky enough
Yes.
to be, of course, selected as a volunteer on one of his illusions, the
Oh,
passing
wow.
through a brick wall illusion. So I was the one who kept
Oh,
on
wow.
banging at the glass and cleaning that thing. So the only sad part is I was not able to take a photo of him, not together with him.
Yes.
I mean, but that's really one experience that I won't forget in my entire life. And come to think of it, another funny thing about that. Let me just take this time, okay? Uh,
Yes.
someone just gave us a
Absolutely.
ticket. Someone just gave us a ticket, two tickets. So I told my cousin, "Hey, let's watch David Copperfield." But during that time, I'm already a huge fan of David Copperfield. I started off
Yes.
with David Copperfield, Blackstone, Doug Henning, and shows like Wonderful World of Magic, hosted by Bill Bixby Then I
Oh,
told my
wow.
cousin, bring her binoculars, okay? Yes. So when we entered, I don't know if you're familiar with Folk Arts Theater. It's one of the nice theaters before. So the ushers saw the ticket and they led us. Okay, we passed the farthest part,
Yeah.
going nearer, going nearer, going nearer. Then
Oh, wow.
first row, center aisle, first two chairs, first two seats, center aisle. So it turned out the ticket says house guest. So I don't know what that just means. So you know
Wow.
what? My cousin just hid the binoculars underneath the chair like that.
Oh.
But you know what? Up front, the motorcycle illusion,
Yes.
man, actually in front and still you can't see anything. I mean, the guy is really awesome, man.
Yeah,
So
true magic, you
how
know.
I wish I can have him here.
I know. I wish I knew how, I could just have a day with Copperfield and just
Yeah.
talk. But he's the one of the greatest magicians in the world. That's the bottom line. How many people has he influenced in the
Lots of
world?
people.
And fortunately, yeah, I understand the experience because I seen him live here. And boy, it just changed my life and what magic can do as an art. And people don't know, but David Copperfield is a storyteller. That's what
Mm.
he does. Not just an illusionist, but his illusions are stories. And I love that about him. And and that's why I love doing storytelling magic in general.
And one last thing, when he was doing the motorcycle illusion, once the music starts, you know what? I don't know what's happening with me, but I'm too emotional. I'm holding back my tears because I don't know if I'm happy or wow, I am seeing it live. So I don't know. So
Right.
back
Right.
then I was not yet into. I mean, I'm not yet into the profession of magic. Although
Yes.
I got lots of props. I mean, some are magic toy props, some are props that are props. But
Yes.
well, enough with David Copperfield. Let's talk. It's short term, man. Sorry, I was just able to mention that one because I'm
I
really
don't
really
have
happy.
anything on David Copperfield, but we could talk about it. I mean, you know what? He is one of my heroes in magic. I mean, there's no doubt about that. There's only so many magicians that ever crossed the world in history like him, like Jeff.
Mhm.
And I mean, it has to be recognized. This is part of our magic history, you know and I can't tell you enough how much he's influenced me. you know
Well, I think he had influenced lots of magicians right now.
yes,
Okay, one
absolutely.
more thing. What's your take on revelations? I mean, yeah, revelations.
Like sort of predictions
I don't know. No,
and
I mean, revealing magic. I mean,
oh,
on I don't know on TikTok or maybe other forms of social media, something like that.
well, I think I can only speak for myself. For myself, I'm not into revealing magic. I will definitely teach it to those who want to learn magic, genuinely want to learn magic. But I mean, how often have people have revealed magic online? That's fine. To each his own.
Mm.
To each his own. We all go on this journey of magic, and if that's what one guy wants to do, so be it. But I think, you know, as a magician, I think, you need to hold those things secret because you take away from the audience somewhat, you know. But I think, in this generation, people want to learn. And even if they know the secret, I think they're still just as astonished in
Yes.
that respect. But that's why I don't have a side as to whether I'm for it or against it. But obviously for myself, I don't do it, at all. And I think if we're talking about magic as an art form that has a history and it's been handed down through the centuries, I think one of the pillars of that art form is to maintain the secrecy of its technique. And I don't think that's a unique thing with just magic. I know that masonry is one of those things where you covet the techniques.
Mhm.
But, I think that's what makes magic so mysterious and magical is the secrecy. So as long as there are those who still abide by the rule of not telling magic, I think we're going to be okay because there's a balance there. People are interested, that's great. But as far as a performer, as far as a magician in magic, yeah, I won't publicly tell secrets or a revelation, as you would say.
Thank you very much for that one. So, guys, again, no to revelations. One more final thing before I let you go. I know you're still you're a very busy guy. Uh, of course, you are close with your fellow Phil Jonathan Molo, who's also a
Yes.
magician. Any other Filipino Phil magicians that you are, uh, I mean, friends of yours? Uh,
Well, obviously, I've met so many magicians in the Philippines, and I definitely am becoming aware of many good magicians out there, and hopefully, when the pandemic's over, I can meet everyone in person, because I think my relationship with just Filipino magicians, at least in the Philippines, have been limited to this medium.
mm,
And I would like to take that further, because I think me and Jonathan had this mission of being able to connect the magic community here to the one in the Philippines, the several communities there, and that would be ultimately my goal. Cecil and Mighty from Los Angeles, Filipino couple. I'm very good friends with them, work on
mm.
projects, and they've been on America's Got Talent, and they have been very supportive of my career in magic. And also another magician, he's a bizarre magician, a student of Eugene Berger, Daniel Gastelum. He also is living out in the Los Angeles area. So I appreciate my relationships with at least the Filipino community of magicians.
So
And
anyway,
I think
again, Chris, thank you very much for again granting me to do this interview. There might be silly questions coming from me, but please bear with me, and I apologize for that one.
no,
uh,
I think the connection was good thus far. So we're
okay,
good.
wait, I have come late. What's this? I have come in late sometime here, so this may have been asked. Would you ever consider mentoring a young person?
That's a great question. Yeah, definitely. I do teach on occasion, and I think it depends on what they want to learn. Obviously, I think my magic is so focused on pantomime and certain routines that I think there are a lot of magicians out there who can teach very basic and very classical forms of magic, which I do think you need to know. That was the one thing Jeff had always told me. You need to learn the classics before you
Mm,
begin to learn the advanced stuff. So I think there's a reason for that. So you can begin to shape your own authentic style of magic. But yeah, if I could help, I absolutely will. But I know that I am limited in terms of my wisdom and knowledge. And I would certainly point them in the right direction if I couldn't help. But thank you for the question.
thank you, and of course, thank you very much to Kathy for engaging us in our conversation. Again, Kathy, thank you very much. And please don't forget, my guest is Chris Herren. You can visit his website at www.chrisherrenmagic.com, and of course, Facebook page Chris Herren as Faust, and Instagram Chris Herren as Faust, and of course, his show on Facebook is called Faust and Company. And does it? Do you broadcast every Mondays or Tuesdays, or it depends?
Usually it'll be on a Friday. of at least at Pacific time, it would be 7 p.m. Pacific time. So, but sometimes I do it in the day if I have an international guest. So I will accommodate their time to ensure that they're comfortable with the hours. Because as much as I'd like to stick on Pacific time, I know how difficult it can be. So
I relate to that one.
I'm very accommodating indeed.
That's why some I have guests at 3 p.m. 3 in the afternoon. I have a guest who will be I'll be broadcasting at 11 a.m. in the morning. So
Thank
wait,
you.
what's happening over here? Wait, let me just take this out from. There you go. And I'm just reading some other comments over here. Again, thank you. Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Robert Laru, for watching. He used to own a magic shop in Boulder, Colorado, and he's now
Oh,
based in
wow.
Manila.
Hello, Robert. Thank you. Thank you for joining us,
And
Robert.
he has written lots of book in magic, but the thing is, sometimes he's using is it called a pen name or pen name?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yeah,
And again,
yeah.
to as well. So, any final shout for in the broadcast? The floor is all yours, man.
Well, you know what, Chubster, I think I would like to do one last performance out there for
Yes, please
everyone. If
do.
that's
Please
okay.
do.
I'm just having so much fun that I feel like, I think the
Thank you
pantomime
very much,
would be.
bro.
So this one, Chubster, is for everyone out there, especially if you've never seen me perform before. I call this one the Broken Music Box, and I truly hope you enjoy this one. So it's a classic of magic. So everyone out there, please enjoy. Chubster, thank you so much once again.
Pleasure is mine, man. Thank you very much. Once
For
again, put your hands together for Chris Herren as Faust. Here we go, man.
Thank you. This is called the Broken Music Box, and I hope you enjoy.
Tu ne sais pas aimer, tu ne sais pas, en me jetant les bras, je cherche une âme au fond de tes grands yeux, une âme, elle me voit bien un peu le bleu. Ah, jeunesse ardente, qui se vend qui chante, ne veut retenir que le plaisir. Tu ne sais pas aimer, tu ne sais pas, jamais, jamais tu ne sauras. Un soir d'encore ces derniers, oui, mais ton cœur tu l'as gardé. C'est pourquoi malgré tous tes sourires, mon regret ne cesse d'être libre. Ta jeunesse ardente, qui se prend, qui chante, ne veut retenir que le plaisir. Tu ne sais pas aimer, tu ne sais pas, jamais, jamais tu ne sauras.
Thank
Once
you
again,
so
Chris Herren. Okay, Chris, hold on. I need to check. Did I type in the correct website? www.chrisherrenmagic.com, correct spelling?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, okay.
ChrisHerrenMagic.com.
Because Mr. Laro, maybe you have to just check maybe the URL or something because Bob mentioned that the website is not working a while back. But anyway, you can just check it out. Check as Kathy mentioned, it's working already. So again, Chris, thank you very
Okay.
much once again for guesting on Let's Talk Magic. And I hope to meet you in person one of these days. And together with Jotan and Molo, let's have that crispy adobo and of course sinigang na sinangag. And let's do
Yes.
some food trips here in Manila.
We will. And we definitely have to make it a point, Chubster. And thank you with all my heart, my friend. Thank you so much for
Okay, again, I mean, I really have also to thank you for waking up early for the interview. And again, on a moment's notice, you just say you yes and wow. Wow, that's when I message wow was my reaction. So once again, guys, let's give it up for none other than Mr. Chris Herren. Thank you very much, Chris. I'm gonna go put you backstage for a while, and I'll wait. I'll just take this out. Wait, I'm new at this thingy over here, and do like this. Okay. So once again, guys, that was Let's Talk Magic, episode number 21, featuring Chris Herren as Faust. Now, don't forget next week will be the guy from the stories. We'll be having the story 6 at 10 p.m. So please watch out for that. Let me see if we have some other comments. Okay, very good, Mr. Laro. Thank you very much. So once again, guys, my name is Chubster saying thank you very much. Oh, wait. Final note. Oh, there you go. There you go. There you go. So once again, don't forget, if you want to buy some Faust merchandise, Chris Herren merchandise as Faust, please visit the website www.chrisherrenmagic.com. And of course, there's a link for you to buy the Chris Herren shirt as modeled by none other than Jonathan Molo. Okay. So once again, guys, thank you very much for watching Let's Talk Magic. Stay safe. Don't forget to wear your face mask, your face shield. Good night and God bless. Chubster, see you next week. I'm out of here.